Well, it's a glorious Sunday afternoon, so I thought I'd grab Sheephead and Captain Insano and teach them a little bit about the easiest methods of starting a fire with natural resources that you can find. So we're going to be going hunting out a bit of fatwood, some cramp balls, make a nest of some sort if I can find any dry bracken or anything, and also birch bark. So stay tuned. Sheephead.
Yeah.
Alright. So, first things first. To get some fatwood, what you need is some evergreen coniferous wood. We've got pine here. I've gone for dead standing. You can use the stuff that just falls on the ground. You're looking at one of the branches that come out, hopefully low down, thick enough to retain the resin. What fatwood is when the resin has drained down into the actual bough of the branch, and that resin, when scraped off or just burnt, is highly flammable, and that's what we need for our fire kits. So what we're going to do, as you can see, this one here is all dead. I'm going to get round the back, cut through here, boys, and then we'll have a look to see if we can see the fatwood in it. Good?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good,
yep.
Good. Now, you want to cut as close to the tree as you can. Watch yourself there, George. And hopefully,
look up below.
That is a lovely piece. What you can see here, look, is that dark red colour. That is all of the sap that has soaked into the tree. Now I'm going to cut this back normally till about a foot or so, but I'm going to cut it longer today purely so I can process it easy with the boys, which I'll show you later on. Give that a smell.
My, the sap.
Can you smell it? What does it smell like?
I don't know actually.
Does it smell a bit like, you know, the floor cleaner that your mum sometimes uses?
I don't know that floor cleaner.
Yeah, that's because it's pine. Exactly the same thing. Now that will get all tacky. If you feel that, it's a little bit sticky.
Yep.
And I'll show you later when we scrape all that off. Onward and upward. Right, as you can see just behind Sheephead there, we've got some dry ferns and stuff which we're going to pick to start making our tinder bundle. If you want to grab those, boys, and whack them in my bag.
Sure.
See the dried stuff just there? Yep. Make sure it is dry. And then whack it in the bag in my hip.
Give me your bag.
And hopefully if we can find some cramp balls, I'll just show them how to make a tinder nest. Sparking, blow away. Don't know if it'll work or not, but only one way to find out, and that is to try. Sling her in there then, dude.
Okay.
Onward and upward. You all done, kids?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. In fact, while I'm here, just to show you the difference, wherever I put that stick, right. Just so you can see the difference between this fatwood. So there's the fatwood end with all the resin in it. See the dark red colour? And there is the other end where it hasn't penetrated. Well, not fully, a little bit up there, but not a lot. So as you can see, all of that in there is resinous, flammable goodness. Whereas that is just wood. So what we're looking for is fallen birch, fallen ash. Yeah. So we're now on a little mooch to try and find some fallen ash, fallen birch. As you can see here, people have already been cutting bits and leaving patches on the trees. I much prefer to use deadfall or standing dead standing, whatever you want to call it, because there's plenty of it around. What a glorious day. Pooches are with us. There's plenty about. That looks promising over there. Right, we're going to cut through here, kids. Watch out, it's a bit slippy. Right, if you look here, might revisit that because it's snapped and it's flaky. Don't touch it just yet, Eve, because I need to make sure if it's safe before you start mucking around with it.
It down, but no.
Exactly, which is why I stopped you.
Damn it!
Right, see you when we get to where we're going. Come on in.
Okay.
As you can see behind us, we've got a nice fallen ash tree here. So on here we're going to be looking for cramp balls, and what cramp balls are black hard mushrooms, and what they do, when you open up the rings of the fibres inside and put your spark to them, they glow like an ember for about 10-15 minutes, and you can put them inside the bundle which we're going to make out of the bracken, blow it and it'll go poof. So if we go over now and have a look and see what we find. Now as you can see, we've got some down here. Georgie should knock some off. Ethan, is there any by you?
Well, there are some down here, but they're quite crackly. Oh, there's a big one.
See if you can get hold of Georgie's stick and knock it off.
What are these?
See if you can borrow Georgie's stick and knock it off.
Oh, yeah, good point. Or I could use something else.
Okay, can you hold these?
Who's next? I've got my hand full.
There we go.
Eve, end on.
Okay.
Now come here, look. Let me show you. Like that. Yeah?
Okay.
There you go. Grab that
Crikey.
and do the other bit. It's fallen over there. Where Pop is, it's on the floor.
There's a bit here.
Perfect. Right, should we move on? See what George is doing. Go on, George, you give it a crack. Ethan, you're right in the way of the camera. No, with the end of your stick.
What end?
Show him, Eve.
Like this, look.
Got it.
Ooh, there's a good bit.
Right, I need to put this camera down to show him how to do that. Right, George, what you need to do is attack it from the side like this. Okay, so you come and stand where I am and give that a clout. Now that stick's a bit long, so get further down the stick so you can be more accurate. Go on, boy. Yay! That one's a bit old and rotten, but find it. It fell on the floor. Just down there, look. Now show that to the camera. Now, what we have in here, not sure how well you're going to be able to see it, if it's going to focus. You see those lines, like contour lines? They're the bits that you need to be exposed, nice and dry hopefully. And when you put your ferro rod spark onto them, they glow like an ember, which we will show you later. These are a little bit soft and a little bit wet, but I'm sure we'll be able to sort something out. Right, have you got enough, boys?
Well, I got a gigantic one here.
Oh, wicked. Come bring it into the haversack then.
Oh, wait. Dad, look at this one.
Brilliant. Put it in the game bag. Hey, come on.
Okay.
Wait, I got one.
Oh, look at that one. That is perfect. Oh, come on, focus, you damn thing. Well done, George. Paul, everything in there?
Alright, I just need to get one more.
Oh, your fire kits are coming along nicely.
Yay!
Kill it, cameraman.
Wait, Dad's got one more.
What we have here is a fallen birch tree. So what we need to do is strip some of this bark off, yeah? We can pull some of the papery stuff off as well, which when we get the fire alight, that's very good for burning. So if you do that, and I'm going to cut some of the actual bark off itself, okay? Just go right the way in and through. Try and get a big long layer of it. Trying to get a nice deep cut, because this obviously hasn't fallen that long ago. There we go. Right. So Georgie and Eve, see how I've done that? Do you want to get underneath that and start peeling that off?
Okay.
We won't need a huge amount for the demonstration.
You can only try it.
Perfect. Okay. What I need you to do then, Eve, hold the knife there, hit on top of the knife to go underneath.
Oh, okay.
Move out so the camera can see you.
I was hoping
And don't stand directly behind the blade, because I don't want it slipping and hurting you. That's it, that's it. Now just ease it up like that. Right, now it's eased up, you can get your fingers underneath it.
God.
Maddie.
Hey, there. Sorry.
I'll help you.
Got it.
Go on then. Brilliant.
Mine.
Peel both sides off.
Okay.
And that's what we need. I'm going to take over to the camera. Right. Now what you'll find with birch bark is when you scrape the paper-like surface off, it's also, as you can see underneath here, resinous. So when that powder takes a spark, poof, very flammable, very quick. So what we're going to do now is go find somewhere to set up. I'll process the fat wood down so you can actually see the colours of it. We'll set up with the cramp balls, flint and steel. We'll then put that into a nest. We'll make a fire with birch bark and we'll make a fire with fat wood. You up for it, boys?
Yep.
They're up for it. So give me 2 secs. As I said earlier, all of this isn't fat wood. So what I tend to do is take the bark off until the fat wood stops. But by having it that little bit longer, it means I can rest that up against and saw it off with my saw and end up with a full bit of fat wood rather than cutting it short and having to trim all the way around. So I'm going to teach the boys how to trim this. Firstly by showing them. So to start with, you're literally, oh wait, you're literally scraping off the bark, George. Now the way I want you to do it, you hold the knife still and you pull the wood. Now the reason I want you to do that is that way you don't move the knife, which is the sharp cutty bit. Do you understand? Put your back down, crouch down. Okay, don't need your stick just yet either. So hold the knife. See, as you can see, once again, you've got that dark red colour which follows through, but about here it starts getting a lot lighter. Yeah, so I'm going to cut off about this much of the fat wood. Where are you? There. Cut off about this much of the fat wood with the saw, jettison the rest. The kids can go play, dogs can go look for that. Have a sniff of that, George. The whole thing. Oh. Just using a little bit of birch bark here as a stop for it. So all we need to do with this is simply scrape off, and you can see how resinous it is by the way it turns into a powder rather than shavings. So we get a bit of a lump of that. The smell is delicious. It's only a little bit. So as you can see there, we've got the powder scraped from the fat wood. Just get that on there. Give it a couple of them. Oh, there was a flame. And voila, you've got yourself a little flame. Now that, as you can see the resin burning. Obviously brilliant to start a fire with nothing but a ferro rod. It's in abundance in most UK woodlands. Lovely, jubbly. So that's one method. The next method, just putting that out with a bit of... Right, do you want to do this one, George? Okay. Yeah?
Does it involve the spark?
I can do the spark bit. Basically what you've got to do here is exactly the same as you saw me with that. Scrape the birch bark until you've got dust on it. Okay, so watch your fingers with that really sharp knife and you're scraping like this. You've got it, watch your fingers until you've got a little pile of dust. A little bit of dust. Oh, you can see it now. You can even see the resin, can't you? The changing colour. What I'll do, I'll just stop the vid until we've got enough dust. That's it. Brilliant. Now what we have here, to take knife away so you don't cut me, exactly the same as before. A nice little pile of shavings. Once again, put it down, and away we go. Now the good thing with birch bark is, you take that, if you light that off of that, it should light straight away. And look, away you go. So, from one, stop moving it away. Dry a bit. All of a sudden, you've got lots of separate bits of light that you can use to start your fire. Shimples! And finally, this bit, Ethan,
Yeah?
I'm going to need your lungs.
Okay.
Right. Could you pass me the bag, George?
Yep. And yeah, now what?
Right, I'll just get this out of the way and put it out. Okay. So, Ethan, what we need to do for this one, we will get, hopefully, this is our dry bed, okay?
Okay.
So we need to make like a nest.
Okay.
You see what I'm doing there? Now, I'm going to light the cramp ball because they can be a bit tricky. But what I'm going to do is pan back. I'm going to light the cramp ball first, but you're in charge of this nest and I'll explain in a moment.
I got my
So once again, we've got the cramp ball. Now, you need those lines exposed really. And what I'll show you is, put your ferro rod on there. Oh, missed it. A couple of sparks.
Can I blow?
Yeah, go around the other side. Right, blow on that. Now as you can see, oh, where are you? Blow. Go on, keep going. As you can see there, that glowing red is an ember.
Should I blow? Let me blow.
Now the good thing is with cramp balls, that will stay an ember for ages now. So what we're going to do, I'm going to reposition the camera. I'm going to put this inside Ethan's nest. He's going to blow on it, which will start setting all of that alight. Okay, can you press stop, George? Right, this is take two because the battery died on that. Ben, I need you to keep looking at it or spin it around to me. Right, unfortunately now we are stuck with a fair bit of damp foliage. So, cramp balls still glowing in the nest. Cover them over with a couple of bits of those. George Porch, can you come here?
Right.
I thought you wanted to blow it, George, you haven't got time.
Okay.
Ethan, do you want to go? Remember what I said. Up, down, up, down, up, down. And down and up. Quick, we haven't got time. See the smoke? Now what you want to make sure you're doing is when that does start to smoke really bad, make sure it's away from your face when you're blowing so it doesn't flare up. Do you want me to have a go? Right, so basically this is take three. I've got my cramp balls inside my nest. You've got to forgive me, it worked first time, but now all the stuff we have is damp. That in there, make a little well, blowing it. There you go. Even with wet bracken, away you go. Sorry, fern. So you've got 3 ways there, easy of starting a fire. Come here, George, give it a quick blow while it's down here, son. Cramp ball, birch bark, fat wood, all ways you can start a fire, and all you need is a ferro rod. Everyone's a winner. Sorry about the thing being up the wrong way round. My son that should really be technologically minded, obviously isn't. Give it another blow, Heath. There you go. Right, catch you crazy cats later. Isn't that just sod's law? The first take we had with the nest, all my kids were doing it, it went absolutely swimmingly. He hadn't pressed a button on the video camera. Bless him. And yes sir, Ben's got it. Yeah, good day out. Hopefully it was informative for you. As I say, the first take was a lot better. But there you go, them's the breaks, isn't it? I ain't gonna waste all day retaking so it was perfect. I've done it again, got the fire going. I think. My kids now know how to get fatwood, they now know how to get the cramp balls, they now know how to get the birch bark, they now know how to start everything. 3 very, very easy ways. £1 is all it costs for one of those ferro rods. You don't need all the all singing, all dancing kit. I know people in the bushcraft community, a lot of them, not all of them, aren't happy unless they're spending 50 quid on a titanium mug. If it eats up water, it eats up water. If you can take your kids away for under a tenner, start a fire, cook your hot dogs, I'm happy with that. You right, Winkle? Show them why they call you Sheephead. Sheephead! Sheephead! Do you have fun, Heath?
Yep, I loved it.
Have you learnt something? Heath, have you learnt something?
Yes, I love you.
Oh, that's very nice of you.
Yeah.
Happy Dad. Ciao for now. Ta-ra.